Hello everyone, this is Patti Behan and thanks for tuning in today. In this video, we'll be making this beautiful card and we'll be using some perfect pearls, Simon Hurley stamps, Emboss It ink pad, and white embossing powder. And I'm going to show you how to paint with perfect pearls. So let's get started. To begin, I have a piece of black heavy stock from Distress and it's cut to 5.5 by 5, and I'm using the anti-static pouch to remove the static before we emboss. And here I have the rose borders stamp set, and I'm going to ink up the stamp with the clear embossing ink, and I want to make sure I get a good coverage of ink on here. And then once I do that, I'm going to stamp it onto the black card, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a border on top and on the bottom, just like so, and press it firmly to make sure you have a good image. And then I'll sprinkle the white embossing powder over the top, and I have a piece of scrap paper underneath and I'm taking off the excess. And I'll return this to the jar. And then I'm also going to stamp our sentiment, and I'm using the stamp set Beautiful Blooms and the I Love You sentiment. And then we'll ink up the stamp again with the clear embossing ink. And I'm going to just stamp it at the corner here. And then I'll pour the embossing powder over top. I'll remove the excess and put this back into the jar. And then I see I have a little stray embossing powder, and I'm just going to take a brush and remove that before I emboss it. Okay, and now I'll take my heated tool and I'll emboss until all the powder is melted. As I'm doing this, I just want to let you know that you can use this card as a Valentine's Day card, anniversary card, change the sentiment, and it could be for any occasion. It's just a beautiful stamp, and you're going to love how this turns out. Since this is a pretty large stamp, it does take a minute for this to emboss, and I never get tired of the look of embossing powder, watching it melt. You see how as it melts it gets darker. It's just magical. Okay, I think that's done, and I'm just waving it to cool it off because I'm going to cut this out and just checking to make sure I got all the areas. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut out the bottom, and I'm leaving a little black outline as I cut this out. And I'll go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Okay, that's done. And now I'm just going to cut this by hand here with the scissors, and I'll make a little border around the words, and that's going to be our sentiment on the bottom of the card. Okay, now the fun part begins and we'll start painting. I have Iris Perfect Pearls here, and I'm going to make a paint by using the end of my brush and putting some powder in the lid. And then I have a pipette here, and I'll just put a drop of water, and then I'll mix up the paint and I'll start painting. I'm going to alternate my colors, so I'm starting at the first flower here, and as you're painting this, you don't have to be too fussy about going inside the lines. The paint does resist from the embossing powder a little bit. If you have too much, it will cover some of the embossing. Another thing I wanted to let you know is that the consistency of your paint shouldn't be too watery. You don't want it too thick either. So I suggest that you make a mixture and then test it out on a scrap to see if you like the consistency. That's really something you have to do by trial and error. Okay, now I've moved on to using the turquoise perfect pearls, and I'm going to just continue painting in the rest of the flowers, and after that I'm going to use Forever Green and Zinnia, and I'll paint in the leaves. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up here, and then I'll just turn on the music and let you watch. Hopefully you'll find it very soothing. Alright, I think I'm done now. I'll lift it closer so you can see the beautiful shine. We're going to let this dry and then put our card together. I have an A2 size card. It's 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm going to use a tape runner to glue this piece down, and I'll adhere it flush to the top of the card, just like that. So beautiful. And now I have the sentiment. I have a piece of black foam tape on here, and I'm going to stick it right in the corner there. And there you have it. You have this beautiful card, and I hope that you give this a try. We have a link to the supply list in the description box below, and don't forget to like and follow us for more crafty videos. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.